April 18th. Welcome to CT Pulse on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky, and April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And in the wake of the Me Too movement, more people than ever are talking about abuse. And today we're highlighting some of the local work that's being done to raise awareness and support survivors, including through a special event that's coming up just later this month. Now, I'm joined today by Deborah Greenwood. She is the president and CEO of the Center for Family Justice, which serves the greater Bridgeport area. Deb, thank you so much for joining me today. Always love having you on.
Thank you for having me, Kate. Appreciate it.
And we want to talk about Walk a Mile in Her Shoes coming up April 28th. But first, speak to the scope of services that CFJ offers.
Sure. I'd be happy to. Well, our agency actually was founded in 1895 as a YWCA. And so we have a long history and a great legacy. In 1997, the focus turned to domestic violence, sexual violence, and the child abuse services that we provide at the center. That happened for one particular reason. In 1994, the Violence Against Women Act was put into play by then Senator Joseph Biden. And it made sense that the agency would move in that direction. I got there in 2007, and we took a look at what else we can continue to do to support victims of abuse with our wonderful board of directors and a lot of our community stakeholders. And we realized that we weren't doing enough. So we studied a model that has been identified as best practices by the Department of Justice called a Family Justice Center, where under one roof we have almost every type of service that a victim of abuse might need, versus having her or him go from one location to another. And what you find is when a victim of abuse is going through a crisis, they may have 1, 2, 5 children with them. Even if they're by themselves, it's really at a time where they don't need to be going all around the community to get what they need. So in 2016, on April the 4th, we cut the ribbon on Connecticut's first Justice Center, joining over 150 others in the United States. So we currently not only provide all the free confidential services for domestic violence victims, sexual violence victims, and also do forensic interviews for children that have disclosed sexual violence or living in a severe physical domestic violence household. We now have free legal services. We've expanded our support group services. We have law enforcement in the building. We even have a wellness studio where when someone is looking after taking care of children, especially moms, they need to take care of themselves. So we offer meditation, we offer yoga, and many other plethora of modalities of exercise so that they can really try and reduce their trauma as well. We work with 13 other nonprofits. So what we've found is, besides the court advocacy, of course the 24/7 hotline that's on for victims is critically important. So expanding all of that, once the crisis is over, we now have an empowerment room. And what happens now after the crises? So yesterday we had well over 24 victims that are now survivors that were learning about how to rise and thrive, meaning how do I find a job, how do I take care of me, where do I go, and what is the next chapter of life going to look like. So those are just some of the services we offer.
I mean, it's incredible, really. I mean, you're talking about it and about helping people in a crisis and then helping them heal from that. I mean, I know as well you do a camp for children that have been victims of abuse, Camp Hope as well, and it's all about a better life going forward after something like that. It's really incredible. And I mean, just talking to you earlier, Deb, you were up in Hartford today advocating for certain legislation. You really do it all. And one of your biggest fundraisers every year and one of your biggest events is this Walk a Mile that's coming up next weekend. Tell us about how Walk a Mile started and what it's all about.
I will. It's a national program, and we realized that one of our sister agencies in Milford had been doing this successfully, and because we also provide the sexual violence services as well, we thought this might be a great way to engage college students, high school students, but people of all ages actually. So it started with a conversation first in Milford, and they thought that's a great compliment. If you're looking to do something in the greater Bridgeport area, please, whatever we could do to help you. And they did. So step 2, having a cup of coffee with Chief Gary McNamara in Fairfield. And I talked about this walk a mile in her shoes that happens across the country. What did he think? That conversation went from 2 seconds to about an hour, and he said, let's do this. Let's engage as many people as we can in the community and the universities, and will be more than happy to be the honorary chair of this. And for the last this will be year 6, Chief McNamara walks down the post road for 1 mile in his own red stilettos. And as he mentioned earlier on today, it may take an hour to get down to the point from point A to B. It might take a few weeks to recover, but he, as well as the men at the Center for Family Justice, really support the work that we're doing, and what that means is they do not condone violence against women or girls. So that's how it started, and here we are 6 years later, where we started with 400 participants. We're up to almost 1,000 now.
Yeah, that's amazing. And we should say you're not required to wear high heels if you're a man
Correct.
walking in it, but I do love that little extra effort's put in, especially by Chief McNamara. I think that's great. And I know some of the local colleges really get involved in this too.
They do. Sacred Heart University has a fraternity called Delta. Tau Delta. It's a national fraternity, and that's part of their mission statement, which is to keep college campuses safe for young women. And where you find it at Sacred Heart, you'll find that mission around the country. And they've really been supportive the last 6 years, not just for the walk, but throughout the entire year. Fairfield University, same idea. Todd Palazza, who is the Title IX coordinator at Fairfield U, the Dean of Students, Karen Donahue, Christine Brown, who's the Title IX coordinator, really put their efforts together to get Fairfield University students to also walk. So between Sacred Heart and Fairfield U, the high schools in Fairfield, Fairfield Ward, Fairfield Ludlow, Fairfield Prep, I don't want to start naming because now I'm going to start missing
You just go
someone.
on and on, yes.
But because now we're getting the other towns to come, and all 6 police chiefs all participate in this walk a mile, which does a lot for our region and our law enforcement.
And this year we've obviously seen the Me Too movement and what's happened with that. And I want to talk more about that later. But Walk a Mile now has its own hashtag this year, right? Created by some of the men involved in organizing this.
Absolutely. About 2 weeks ago, or probably a little bit longer, we have a group that meets monthly called the White Ribbon Campaign. And again, these are men that take the initiative to not be bystanders, and actually did a almost 6-week strategic plan on how they were going to progress in their community as leadership, as men, to condone, not to condone violence against women and or girls. And one of the things that was an outcome, now that they have been around for 10 years, celebrating their 10-year anniversary, we started to talk about the walk. We started to talk about, gosh, we've been doing this work for 10 years. What else can we be doing? So the hashtag #MeToo that's been out there has always been part of our discussion. And there's only about 3 or 4 women that sit on this committee, myself being one of them and one of my other directors. And Chief McNamara and Matt Reale, who's a member of our board, started saying, the White Ribbon Campaign doesn't really talk about what we do. And how can we also let the community know what else we're doing? Because we're men that care too. All of a sudden, the conversation flipped to hashtag men care too. So now our White Ribbon movement has their own hashtag, and they have taken that to a whole new level on college campuses, and there'll be a lot more to come unveiling this on April 28th at our Walk a Mile in Her Shoes.
I'm so excited about that. And the event is such a great time for anyone that attends it, but it's also an important fundraiser for you guys in continuing to provide the services you provide. And of course, in Connecticut, it's hard for nonprofits, especially with all the recent budget battles up in Hartford. So can you speak to just what this kind of event means for you guys going forward and continuing to help those who need it?
I'd be happy to. This year, the committee who is spearheading this initiative has decided that our Camp Hope program will be where the proceeds will go. Let me explain a little bit about what that means. Our youngest victims are children, whether they're the primary victim that have disclosed a sexual assault, or again being abused in a very severe physical domestic violence household. And there is a national movement called Camp Hope America that started 16 years ago. And they've measured the evidence of what trauma does to a child's brain as they grow. And a very short answer to all of that over the last 16 years over in California has been that children that are exposed to trauma that do not get services, that do not have the therapeutic services and lifelong help, shave 20 years off their life. I can't even imagine. So we looked at how we could model this program. We were fortunate enough to work with Camp Hope America to actually start our first Camp Hope Connecticut last summer in conjunction with the YMCA, the Central Connecticut Coast YMCA, up at Camp High Rock, sleepaway camp. And we started with 28 children last year, and we evaluated how they were before camp and what their vision was after camp. Before they went to camp, they had no vision. They had no hope. There was no future. If you're talking to a 7 to 11-year-old, can you imagine that when you would ask a child, what do you hope to be when you grow up? And we know kids will come up with all kinds of fun answers, and they really had no hope that they were even going to get there. So we work with them all year long, and now this year moving forward, we've included children from New Haven, Hartford. We have some kids that will be coming with us in 2019 from Stanford. We're expanding to a larger group. We'll have over 50 kids this year. So the proceeds from this walk will be targeted to actually starting to break the intergenerational cycle of abuse for kids.
Wow, that's an amazing cause to support on April 28th, I have to say that. All right, Deb, I'm going to keep you here. We're going to step out for a quick break, come back and talk more with Deb Greenwood right after this.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Our Ram trucks get the job done with unparalleled style and performance. Call, click, or stop in to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck that you've been looking for. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands right now at the Spring Sales Event, now through April 30th.
Winter's finally in the rearview mirror, and the Dock Shop is ready to help you usher in our favorite season, summer. We've got new offerings in our usual products: clothing, jewelry, home decor, fishing tackles, and boating supplies. And now the Dock Shop does in-house laser engraving. You can add a name, a boat name, latitude, longitude, an image to drinkware, serving platters, boards, or decorative accessories. No minimum, fast turnaround. Stop in today and start your summer. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Base Star and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866. If you've ever...
Welcome back to CT Pulse on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky, and I'm joined in studio today by Deborah Greenwood of the Center for Family Justice. We're talking about Walk a Mile in Her Shoes coming up next weekend, and just talking about sexual assault awareness in general. And Deb, as someone who's been doing this work for so long, what has it been like for you to see this Me Too movement happen in the last few months?
For an organization like ours, as bad as the disclosures have been, with high-profile individuals, it actually helps people that are out in the community that have been victims of sexual harassment, sexual assaults, that feel comfortable enough to call the hotline. And for a victim, that's a huge step. Many people live with these issues for years, a lifetime, and they tell no one. So it's giving individuals the courage to pick the phone up and walk through the door and join a support group, or for other individuals to say, you know, maybe this happened to me and maybe it didn't, and they're questioning why they've had the issues that they've had in their lifetime. So they're coming in and they're utilizing our services, which is exactly what we want to have happen. So in a way, as bad as that is, it's really very good for us to be able to talk about these issues. I remember 11 years ago, we were not talking about abuse. We were not talking about domestic violence, but we definitely weren't talking about sexual violence. And these are two of the most underreported crimes that happen. So to be able to have an honest and open conversation, just like we're having today, that's something that's on the airways. This is really supporting all those individuals that might be there saying, maybe I should pick the phone up and maybe I can use that help.
And any movement like Me Too that gets a lot of media attention, a lot of coverage, as it continued to grow, there's going to be some pushback on that. People saying, oh, is this real? Or, oh, I'm so tired of hearing about this. What do you say to people to kind of keep the conversation going in a positive way? Like, these are people's stories and we need to listen to them and respect them.
And that's very true. There will be comments from outside in the community that will say, oh, she's probably just jumping on the bandwagon because so-and-so did that. And the statistics can prove that 1 in 300 ever embellish a story, such as saying that they were a victim of sexual assault. So, and that just speaks volumes to why we as victim advocates always believe you when you call, when you come in. Our job is not to question. We believe you. And I know that sounds kind of corny or what have you, but the honest to God truth is we do believe you. As victim advocates, not only here in the greater Bridgeport area, throughout the state, throughout the country, anyone doing this type of work is here to support a victim. Victims themselves blame themselves. They put the blame on themselves, and you can imagine without support what that could do to someone physically, emotionally, and how they continue to move forward in their life. Some can't move forward in their life. So it's really what we'll say to someone when they'll just say, do you really believe them? Don't you think they're just kind of joining the crowd?
Right.
And our answer is exactly what I just mentioned. No, we believe them if they've said it, that it's happened and that it's true.
And I think what's also heartening to hear is you guys have been contacted a lot by some businesses and folks that want trainings,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Right?
Which is really very optimistic. Whether there's been a workplace sexual harassment issue, I think the smart companies, whether they're small or large, know that they can call the Center for Family Justice, and we can have one of our experts or two of our experts to come out and do a very detailed type of conversation about sexual harassment. And it doesn't have to be the kind of conversation where it's so rigid. Changing policies and making it better at a workplace is always a positive part that we love to be a part of as well. And we always walk out of there learning something as well about cultures of different companies. So to us, that speaks volumes to someone that might pick the phone up and say, do you have someone that might be able to help us and work with the employees?
And it just shows what a vital community resource you guys are as well, which is wonderful. Circling back to Walk a Mile, an amazing event. I'll be there, and I think everyone should go, but how can people sign up and be part of it?
Very simply, they can go to our website, which is www.centerforfamilyjustice.org. And the first thing that will come up is the Walk a Mile. You click on the button and you can register right there. If for some reason you've not had the time and April 28th you wake up saying, wow, I still want to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, just show up at the downtown Fairfield train station and we'll register you right on the spot.
Perfect. All right, Deb, I always love talking with you, and you guys do amazing work. It's so important. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, we're going to step out for a break here on CT Pulse. We'll be back with more after this.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Our Ram trucks get the job done with unparalleled style and performance. Call, click, or stop in to find the new Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck that you've been looking for. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands right now at the Spring Sales Event, now through April 30th.
Winter's finally in the rearview mirror, and the Dock Shop is ready to help you usher in our favorite season, summer. We've got new offerings in our usual products: clothing, jewelry, home decor, fishing tackles, and boating supplies. And now the Dock Shop does in-house laser engraving. You can add a name, a boat name, latitude, longitude, an image to drinkware, serving platters, boards, or decorative accessories. No minimum, fast turnaround. Stop in today and start your summer. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Our Ram trucks get the job done with unparalleled style and performance. Call, click, or stop in to find the new Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck that you've been looking for. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands right now at the Spring Sales Event, now through April 30th.
Winter's finally in the rearview mirror, and the Dock Shop is ready to help you usher in our favorite season, summer. We've got new offerings in our usual products: clothing, jewelry, home decor, fishing tackles, and boating supplies. And now the Dock Shop does in-house laser engraving. You can add a name, a boat name, latitude, longitude, an image to drinkware, serving platters, boards, or decorative accessories. No minimum, fast turnaround. Stop in today and start your summer. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Welcome back to CT Pulse on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Sorry, I was a little issue on the side there. But it is time for some drawing conclusions with Doug Smith. Doug, you can just hold that right up to your mouth as you're talking, and that'll be all good. All right, Doug, so let's look first at Doug's drawing conclusions cartoon this week. Steve, if we can throw that up there. Yes. All right, so baby Doug, even with the facial hair.
Yeah. And it's a true story, too.
Is that really what you did as a child?
I did. I stuck a pair of scissors in an outlet.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't know why I did it, but...
And did you get a shock from that?
Yeah, I just remember a lot of sparks, my dad yelling.
And so now we're left today with this. This
Right.
explains a lot.
It does.
All right, let's move on to some of your cartoons for our newspapers this week, starting with this one for Aspetuck. Can you tell us about this?
Right, that's it's just been an ongoing thing with the Weston Dog Park.
Right.
It's just the town is split right down the middle. They're either for it or against it, but it's just been going on and on like a civil war.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah. People feel very strongly about it either way. All right, up next, a failed attempt in dealing with the Darien High School cafeteria issue.
Right, they have to expand the cafeteria, so I just
Apparently
thought,
it's
when you're overeating, elastic waistbands always work great,
but maybe not so much elastic walls in the cafeteria. But who knows? Maybe they'll give it a try. All right, the state has deemed the Stevenson Dam Bridge as being obsolete.
Right.
Oh, and then someone asking, what's the status of the dam itself?
I know. Makes
It's a
you
good
wonder.
question. It does make you wonder,
it's
right?
over 100 years
That house right below there.
Oh, there's a slew of houses along the road.
I know.
And I mean, the dam's over 100 years old.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's when you drive over that bridge, you know.
Yep.
All right, taking a look at this one. Tell us about this.
Oh, that's in New Canaan. For the people aren't cleaning up after their dogs, they have the little shame on you signs they're putting on the ground. They don't seem to be doing much good.
Right.
Like as if people who don't care are going to be bothered by the signs anyway.
I like that there's spears getting thrown at the man and the dog. All right, up next, April 21st and 22nd are Rid Litter Days. And
Right.
don't forget about Pollinator Pathway.
Yep, that's in Ridgefield. Pollinator Pathway is a little sideline thing of Rid Litter Days. They want to get people to put plants in that'll help bees start pollinating.
I like it. Very cool. Well, all right. Up next, a little document shredding event. This is an interesting way to shred your documents, perhaps. There's going to be several cats there helping out.
Another true story, just when I was sitting watching my cat on my couch.
Was that your homework? Is that what you used to tell the teacher?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. And up next, we have some Godzilla humor. I hear they found someone who's going to tear down the center school. This is in Stratford, yes?
Yep.
Maybe that'd be the only person that could do it efficiently.
Right. Godzilla's always a good fallback for subject matter on my stuff.
I love it. And up next, tell us about this
In
one.
Wilton, they're at an intersection, right in a very residential neighborhood. They're talking about, because everyone's bypassing Route 7, they're taking the back roads and it's causing a gridlock, so they're talking about doing a roundabout there.
Not a roustabout?
Not a roustabout.
All right, Doug, as always, love your cartoons
Hey,
this
thank you.
week. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to wrap things up here on your CT Pulse. If you missed anything, you can watch us on demand later. And stay tuned for live baseball on the HAN Network this afternoon. I'll see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11. Have a great day.